Hey everybody, late night ramble time because I have insomnia because I'm isolating and somebody in my house might have COVID. Um, I told you guys a couple days ago, Misty came into contact with somebody who now we know tested positive for COVID a couple days later, and now she's got a bit of a cough and her test is scheduled for tomorrow, which then, if she's positive, then I'll schedule a test. Um, but basically, until we know, uh, here I am in my bubble, on my living room couch slash bed as I'm isolated from her, and, it's just, but I don't know anything else right now, so I'll let you know when I do. I have been in my own little internet bubble, however, and I did get inspired to talk about something tonight, and that is a certain meme that I saw pop up not just on Parler, but Facebook and Twitter, and it goes like this: 2016, the Democrats cried Russian meddling, and then 2017 Russian meddling, and 2018 Russian meddling, 2019 Russian meddling. But then all of a sudden at 2020, there's no evidence of voter fraud. Now, while that could be a little bit of straw manning, or generalization of, the entire left, and whatnot. I'm not going to say that those things were not put forth by Democrats. They were, you know, um, a large number of them. Maybe not all, but a large number of them. And I'll concede that. But what I want to say is it is a bit of apples and oranges. Okay? Um, Many of you maybe don't have a long memory about the entire Russia Gate thing. Um, or maybe you didn't look too far into it after you decided that it was a nothing burger when more evidence came out. But I imagine some of you might disagree with a few of the things that I'll say in this video that I'll try to keep short. If you need me to expound on this, I can, because I'm only going to talk about things that I can back up. Okay? If you disagree that something I say right now happened, leave me a comment. I will give you a whole bunch more than you give me. So, while we have the historical fact that actual voter fraud at the polls and with mail-in ballots is very, very small. And even in this election in 2020, we're not seeing large amounts of voter fraud. We're seeing, one case here, one case there. Nothing that's going to swing an election, right? But we catch these, one here, one there, you know. In 2016, we have proof of this, that Russian hackers were probing state voter databases and were able to get voter rolls from a few of those states. Now, you might not believe what I am saying, but I can tell you that it is easily fact-checkable by you, right? They never affected any vote totals with their hacking. All they did was get, the names and addresses of a whole bunch of voters. But this was connected back to Russia, right? And you can see this in things like the redacted version of the Mueller report that you can yourself go read if you want. They also were connected with hacking the Clinton campaign's emails. Now, you might remember a certain Donald J. Trump on the campaign trail saying, with his own words, I wonder if Russia can, find the rest of those emails that seem to be missing. Even he at the time was willing to concede that, the intelligence agencies were probably right, that it was Russian meddling. But, it also could have been that those emails had previously been offered to him from Russian operatives, so he was ready to believe that it was Russia because it was Russian operatives that approached him. Also, you can find that in the Mueller report. And these are things that there's a lot of evidence for. There's a whole body of evidence for how they tried to sell damning information about Hillary Clinton to Jared Kushner, and I know you might have forgotten, but it happened, right? But also, Russians were connected to hacking the Democratic National Committee's emails too, right? Separately from Hillary Clinton, and that's how we have both sides of the emails as they were leaked on things like WikiLeaks. But that's also part of the basis for the whole Pizzagate scandal and, the satanic rituals of, like, child's pedo rings and all that. That's all of those conspiracy theories are born from the fact that Russian hackers were releasing the emails from both sides of those communications. If you are, of that Q-tard rabbit hole, then you might remember some of this, right? I'm refreshing your memory, maybe. But also, probably something that you've forgotten is that Russian hackers targeted Marco Rubio and Lindsey Graham in the 2016 primaries prior to Donald Trump getting the nomination. Do you remember that part? Because I can show you where that was a thing, and intelligence agencies connected that to Russia as well. Then there's the spreading of propaganda on social media through things like Facebook, where, yes, we can connect the spending to Russian sources on these ads that were targeting demographics here in America about the election. And, social media companies said, oh, we'll do better. There were also staging of physical events here in America by Russian operatives over in Russia. Their hackers created a whole bunch of social media accounts and then all said that they were going to go to the same events on Facebook. And, so when people saw that like 1,000 people said they were going, they're like, oh, look, it's going to be a big thing. And another 1,000 people got tricked into going to these things. My favorite of which actually was when the Russians actually paid an actor to show up with a Hillary Clinton mask and a prison uniform. Maybe you don't remember that, but for me that was like peak trolling. Like, I remember that, but, I have a longer memory than most about these things. So the Russians also, they set up meetings with Trump, right? The aforementioned Jared Kushner thing where they tried to, sell the dirt about Hillary to the campaign more directly, rather than go through WikiLeaks in that way. That happened. And that just really echoes in my head of like, oh, the whole Hunter Biden laptop thing that's happening now. Who did that come from? Well, we don't know. It's a newer thing, but where did that intelligence come from? Was it foreign sources? Was it just revenge porn? Who knows? Um, I guess we're going to have to wait until there's another congressional committee that starts a congressional investigation. We get the like Mueller report 2.0 on that one. But there was also Russia trying to recruit people associated with Trump, such as, say, Rudy Giuliani, uh, being approached by known spies from da, 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 Russia. Um, and there was even, efforts to build a Trump Tower in Moscow. They were trying to get that to happen so that Trump would have connections to Moscow, and Trump in his projecting he was all like, "Oh well, the mayor's wife from Moscow gave Hunter Biden some money, and it's and I don't want to lay out the whole conspiracy theory, but basically, I really do feel like whatever Trump says about his political opponents usually ends up being kind of an admission of guilt on his own part and projecting his guilt onto the other person. Which, when I look at Q-tards as a whole and how they're all obsessed with child sex rings and pedophilia, I start feeling like if they're projecting, then there's a giant pedophilia ring, which makes sense that they would all convene on, 8chan and 8kun in order to, talk, because then it's just like a couple channels down from where they, usually hang out. So I really do. I wonder about the world sometimes. Anyways, apples and oranges. To say that the Democrats were worried about outside meddling from foreign countries in our elections in all those other ways. But when it comes to the actual process of casting a ballot in an election, there is very little voter fraud on that end in 2020, as has been historically. It's very hard to do, right? I think I'll leave it there. If there's any part of that that you disagree with because you maybe had your mind brainwashed by, you know, social media or media that was targeting you in sort of your own little echo chamber that just led you down that right wing rabbit hole, just leave a comment. Say that you don't see that fact as being a fact, and I'll try to help you out with that.